Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the yet unnamed podcast by the O'Sullivan Bruce Group. I'm your host, Thomas Krueger, marketing director for the O'Sullivan Bruce Group here in Central Missouri. Welcome to episode number 1. And today we are joined by co-owner, broker, rental owner, all around badass, Jessica Bruce. Jessica, how are you this morning?
Excellent. I don't have coffee like you, Thomas, but other than that, life's good. So
Sip Coffee House. Best coffee in the entire lake area. That's my hot take. I'll defend that to the grave. Churro latte, incredible.
I don't know about that, but if I was going to get an ice shake and espresso, I would agree. So it's really good. And I almost stopped in there, but of course I was running late. So here I am.
Oh, nothing ever changes. Wonderful. So I just wanted, oh my gosh. I thought I had pulled up the podcast roadmap here. I actually pulled up our monthly market update
nice.
From last month. Lake TV, check it out. So I don't have it in front of me. Tell me, Jess, what have you been up to recently? What were you doing this morning?
Well, I have my hair curled. I man baby Calvin. Guess he's nuts. And I didn't get a coffee because I was, of course, running late. Oh, I have I found, okay, so Doc Martens are in, right?
Absolutely.
I have my Doc Martens from when I was in high school. They are now vintage Doc Martens. Of course, I busted them out. I put new laces in them and I'm wearing them.
Oh, of course. Of course.
It's going to be a great Friday.
Yes, it is absolutely going to be a great Friday. So, Jess, topic of the day is rental properties.
Yes.
I am young. I am impressionable at this age. And I've got, some money saved up. I could put that into cryptocurrency. I could put that into stocks. I could put that into anything. Is a rental property a good idea for me?
Yes. So when you purchase property, it's not a short-term investment. If you're just purchasing it and you think that you're going to turn around and sell it in 30 days and make $100,000, odds are you're probably not going to. Again, holding property is a long-term investment and it's a slow investment. So it's not that you also, let's say 10 years from now, you want to sell that home because you want cash to, go on a trip to...
Yeah, we're going to Bora Bora.
Bora Bora. You're going to Bora Bora. There you are. You have to get the home ready. You have to put it on the market. You have to get an offer and all of that. So it is not a quick, I can pull cash out here and there. Well, you can, but we'll get into that in a different episode.
Yeah.
You can always do a cash out refi. Anyways. So again, it's a long-term, slow investment, but it's a good investment. Typically property appreciates in most years. You'll have years like 2008 where it does go down. As long as you're willing to hold, that property value will come back. For example, we had a client.
Yeah, you own rental properties, don't you?
Yes. And so I've owned several throughout the years. I probably started purchasing, I'm going to say 5 years ago, give or take. Actually, it's probably a little longer than that now. We're not going to check my age though. So
what was your driving force behind getting into the rental industry?
We list and sell a lot of property. I love property. And 2 stories. One, Nicole and I had a listing years ago and it wasn't moving. It was before, the market went bananas. And so she says, well, I'm going to put it on the rental market, nightly rental, so her and I are navigating through VRBO.
Oh, yeah.
Failing.
So many options.
Oh, yeah. And we get it on there. She comes back the next day and she goes, I have the entire summer booked. I said, what? She goes, yeah, I have 40,000 in rental income. I said, I'm sorry, what a day?
40,000?
Yeah. And she said, yeah, look at this. The entire month of July completely blocked.
Really?
In less than 24 hours. I go, we need some more of those.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of how it started. But
was it an incredible house with, 10 bedrooms and all that?
No, it was an average lakefront home. It was renovated, so it was really nice.
Yeah.
It was, of all places, on P Road, which, do you know where P Road is?
I do not, and that's probably very telling.
Yeah. P Road's up on the north side on the Gravois Arm. But so if you can rent something out on P Road and have it booked solid, you can rent anywhere at the lake.
Oh, yeah.
But, yeah. So
you back to what we were talking about before that. I just wanted to know a little bit about your background.
Yeah.
So you were talking about how rental properties, they usually appreciate and so on.
Mm-hmm.
but they're also a great opportunity to make. I know everyone likes to talk about passive income, but and nothing is ever truly passive. But rental properties, especially here at the lake, especially if you use like a property management company, they can actually be like very passive and very hands off.
Yeah. Correct. You can be hands-on or as hands-off as you want to be. So I've owned several throughout the years. Some are nightly rentals, some are full-time. So it varies. Nightly rental is a little more hands-on unless you have a property management company. Typically, if you hire a property management company, you literally do nothing. You just collect a check at the end of the month. It's very nice. If you're going to do it yourself, that's when you get into, you're manning renters, you're manning cleaning staff. If a cleaning person quits on you in the middle of July, you're cleaning that property because you have someone checking in the next day.
Rough.
It's a little crazy. I've done it before. So, and another thing you have to think about on nightly rental is items you have to keep it stocked. So it's not that you have to give them an entire 24 pack of toilet paper every time, but you do have to keep, toilet paper in there, paper towels, hand soap, just things like that. So there's a lot of ongoing stuff that you might not think about. Again, it's not so bad, but
and that's like in no means like trying to scare people away from owning a rental. Like, I think the thing that's really powerful about a rental property is it gives you almost the opportunity to get ahead of your mortgage on that home. Like you were talking about how you had $40,000 worth of rental income in July, and in 1 month you could pay off your mortgage payments for the year. So from there, it's either straight profit or you could work on paying it down, whatever makes the most investment sense to you as a person.
And nightly rental is really kind of a new thing. It is and it isn't. It's become prevalent because of VRBO and Airbnb. But really, it's always been at the lake. You just might not have known it. You know?
Before there was like a big marketplace for it online. It was like Craigslist, calling up a buddy saying, "Hey, can I use your lake house and let me rent it from you?"
Yep, correct. So it's always been here and it's always been throughout the U.S. But now it's just been magnified to an entire other level. So, before you would have to save up money and you wouldn't be renting out for your second home. It was kind of, a dream of yours, but you were going to be paying that all on your own. Now, let's say you rented out 4 weekends out of the summer, months for 3 nights a piece. You probably are doing pretty well and at least paying half, maybe a quarter, maybe the whole thing of your mortgage payments or whatever it is. It varies.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's one of the things that's great about not only just like a rental property in general, but also a vacation rental is, and there is a busy season. And of course, busy seasons is the time that you want to come down and use your property.
Yep.
But that busy season is a great time for you to get some extra money. Yeah. Say you only want to go down for a week, 2 weeks in the summer because you got like a 2-week vacation from your break, from your job, whatever. If you're not going to use it for the rest of the month, you could put that thing in Airbnb and pay the mortgage for that month. Or maybe, a little bit of extra spending money to go buy something nice for when you're there for the 2 weeks. What I would say is you can't always be on vacation.
Yeah, correct. So you can't always be there. So one thing to make mention though, so nightly rental is not quite the same as a full-time rental. So you do need to be careful when you purchase. Some condo associations won't let you rent, some HOAs, and I'm sure you can understand that. So if you live, wherever you're from and your primary residence, maybe you don't want bachelorette parties next to you every single night of the year and stuff like that. So you do have to remember that that's the same here. People do live here full time year round. Some people did not buy a lake home just to be next to partying 24/7. And so I would respect those and I would know where you can and can't rent. And then it's just going to make your life, your neighbor's lives and everyone else just a lot easier.
Yeah,
so
and I think that's really important to look at when buying a property. The 2 co's near me are currently both going through checking their own HOAs. And, someone wanted to nightly rent in the Cove. They just did it and with no regard for the HOA. And now the HOA is upset. They're coming together and they're all kind of figuring out like we did these HOA rules and regulations 30 years ago. We haven't updated them and they're expired. So there is no HOA at the moment. You've just been kind of like paying in and that's something you got to talk to your realtor about. And your realtor really needs to talk to you and talk to the HOA and figure out the rules and regulations and make sure they're still good and figure out if you're able to or if that's something that's even mentioned in the HOA.
And most likely it's not. Again, nightly rentals really kind of became prevalent not that long ago. And so for the most part, your HOA, no matter when you put it in place, is not going to have the language that restricts you from nightly renting it. So you would want to contact an attorney if your HOA or your, subdivision does not want to have that, and kind of look into it. So, but again, it doesn't have to be scary, and it doesn't have to, deter people away from doing it or not doing it. It is a good thing if you're in one of those communities that allows for it. Typically, you're getting a pretty good return on your home because an investor of some kind is picking it up to rent it. So they're good and bad all the way around, but it's not a scary topic, and nightly rentals are here to stay. So
I think especially here at the lake,
any vacation destination.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So
like I was looking at some stats on this last night at Lake of the Ozarks in Osage Beach. There's a really awesome website called airdna.com.
Mm-hmm.
airdna.com. I don't know if it's legit or not, but I will say they said that there is 90% occupancy in the month of July.
Yeah.
And to me, that feels low. Mm-hmm. And I think that's very telling. And it said, January 25%.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. Who wants to come to the lake in July? But for those 4 weeks in July,
mm-hmm.
I think you can absolutely make some serious money.
Oh, yeah. It's pretty lucrative. So.
All right. We're going to take a quick little break. I forgot to plug my laptop in.
Slacker.
So just 1 minute, please. Thank you. And we're back from break. I've plugged my laptop in, and now we're ready to go again. Apologies. Well, you probably didn't even notice. I just got the video, so let's just go. So, Jess.
Yes.
I own a beautiful property now.
Mm-hmm.
I took some of that money from earlier in the episode, bought a house, and you talked about appreciation and how not everything appreciates.
Mm-hmm.
Market is ridiculous right now.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't I just, sell? Why don't I sell right now? Why should I hold on to this and, use it as a vacation rental?
Probably depends on your return. So, okay, let's take this little lady named Doris Hillerman. Oh, she's really sweet. So
Doris, it sounds like a very grandmotherly, very kind name.
She is, yes. Doris and Morris actually is her husband.
Get out of here, Doris and Morris.
Yeah, they're so cute. We love them.
Oh my gosh, that sounds like a sitcom from the 80s.
It does. They could be in a sitcom from the 80s. And so she's a crack up. If you ever get the chance to meet Doris Hillerman, you should take it. But anyways, back to the point. So Doris and Morris, we just sold their property down on the Niangua Arm. And we were just sitting there chatting. And for some reason, she brings up their property that they live in St. Louis. It's down by the river. And she goes, do you know what we purchased that for back in 1952?
1952. I'm going to go with $72,000.
Oh, you would be wrong. So about $10,000. Yeah, I know. So.
Oh my goodness.
Right? You can buy a home for $10,000. And so they were discussing it, and she goes, well, the thing of it is we just had the bathroom remodeled. Do you know how much that cost? I said, no. She's $19,000. Morris had something to say about it too.
Oh, of course.
And anyways, so that just goes to show you, if you're going to hold a property, now in this case, they held it for 70 years, which is impressive.
Yeah.
Time value of money, that property is most likely going to be worth more, again, unless you're trying to sell it in a recession like 2008. So should you hold it, it will appreciate. Usually in whatever area that you're in kind of has averages that it increases per year, whether it's 7% increase in sale price or 10%, 20%. If you get to the coasts and some of those bigger cities, you see some pretty high appreciations on your property per year. Even if you just hold it for 30 to 60 days, it's going to appreciate.
What's it around down here?
So at the lake, the Midwest is a little bit slower on appreciation per year. And typically at the lake, it's about 7 or 8%. That's nothing to scoff at. Yeah. So if you have a $100,000 property, it should roughly sell the next year for $107,000. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And again, so your choice, but let's say you purchased this property that you want to sell in 2012, 2013. You probably got a pretty killer deal on it.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's probably worth a lot more, maybe double, maybe even more than what you have on it now.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're going to make $50,000, let's say on rental income on it for the next 5 years, that's $250,000. What can you make selling it and not doing anything? So it's kind of up to you. It depends on the price. It depends on what you're going to get. Depends on if you want to use it. There's just a lot of factors. But again, holding property is typically always a good idea.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay, let's do a little bit of math. Mm-hmm. I love math. Did you know that?
I love math too.
You love math too?
Did you know that?
Well, I think this is perfect then.
All right. So, see what you got, Thomas.
Let's go to Airbnb real quick.
Okay.
And I'm trying to sleep. How many people are coming on our vacation, Jess?
8.
8 adults?
Yes.
All right. We're trying to sleep 8 adults. We're going to Osage Beach, Missouri. We're going to check in and we're going to go. I don't want to do it now because right now, a little bit slower time. Mm-mm. We're thinking way far ahead here.
Let's do next July.
We're doing next July and let's do Friday, July 1st.
Okay.
Through Friday, July 8th.
Oh.
So that, yeah.
You can pay some
we
money.
Are here to have a great time with our 8 adults.
That's July 4th weekend.
There are 389. I'm looking around here and it kind of depends greatly mm-hmm. on size and mm-hmm. number of people you can sleep. Mm-hmm. But let's take this house. Entire residential home in Camdenton, lake home at the Midwest Sunset. And so 8 guests, 4 bedrooms, 4 beds, 4 baths. Mm-hmm. Let's say, what do you think a house like that would go for? Just a regular 4-bedroom house on the lake front.
That's like a trick question.
I know.
It's like watching my cousin Benny.
I know.
You can't.
It's an impossible question.
Yeah.
It's impossible to answer.
It's one of the best movies ever.
Let's just go with, let's say, do 500,000, is that a reasonable amount? Maybe it's a little bit.
500,000 to purchase it?
To purchase it.
Maybe sleeping more. 8, 4-bed, 4-bath on the water?
Yeah.
No, you're probably going to need more unless you want to renovate.
True.
So, yeah, you could start at 500,000. How about
500,000.
You probably need 500 to 750 to be on the water with a really nice
I used the Sullivan Bruce Group, so I got one heck of a deal. And so I bought it for 500,000. It's not in the greatest condition. I got to furnish it myself. No big deal. Mm-hmm. So I put $100,000 down. My loan amount's $400,000. Mm-hmm. I get a 30-year fixed, mm-hmm. interest at 3.493%. This mm-hmm. is all from Google. Mm-hmm. So we're going to trust Google for a minute. Monthly payment $1,795.
Okay.
That seems reasonable.
Seems reasonable. It seems a hair high based on 3.25. So taxes in our area mm-hmm. are really low.
Yeah.
Usually whenever you do a mortgage calculator online, they're calculating taxes at normal tax rates throughout the country, mm-hmm. which is usually over 1%. And again, here at the lake, it's incredibly low. So usually your tax rate's a 0.5% or less.
Wow.
Yeah. And on any mortgage calculator I've ever used, it always values taxes really high. That's one of the things that makes the lake a good spot to purchase. Property values are still a little bit lower than they are, on the coast or even in Colorado, Hawaii, down in Florida. We have really low taxes. Mm-hmm. And the reason we have low taxes, there are not a lot of amenities here. When you drive around, you're not going to see a bunch of sidewalks and streetlights, things that, no normal city might have. It is a little bit more, it's not a little bit more, it's more rural here. It just plain is.
Yeah. And
so you're not paying for that. You're not paying for a lot of restrictions and a lot of government entities,
there's
job payments,
it's mostly private trash around here.
It's correct. Oh, it's all almost private
there's
trash.
Almost no public trash.
Mm-hmm.
So you're not paying for that except for obviously mm-hmm. paying a private group.
Yeah.
Which can sometimes end up being cheaper.
Mm-hmm. Correct. So that brings up another good point. A lot of times your property's on a private well, private septic. Sometimes that seems daunting when you purchase to pick up something like that, but part of it's cost of doing business. But the other half of it is you're not paying a sewer or water bill if you have a private cell and septic and well. You just need to maintain it every couple of years to keep an eye on it, get it serviced.
Mm-hmm. Do your homework.
Yeah. Yep.
So our
I really digress there.
Yeah, that's fine. Our $1,750 a month payment is it's a little high. So mm-hmm. maybe I didn't get as good a deal. Mm-hmm. I used somebody else.
We'll use 17 though.
We'll use 17. We'll just jump up to 2 just for some easy math. Mm-hmm. If we wanted to book our 1-week vacation mm-hmm. at this lake home, mm-hmm. $289 a night. Mm-hmm. I think that's a pretty good deal. To sleep 8, $289 a night.
$289 to sleep 8
Sleep 8
in July.
In July. I think we're still on, yeah.
You're really low,
I'm
Thomas.
really low,
wow.
yeah. I'm a deal hunter.
Yeah. I'm going to need you to double that amount, and that's what you're going to pay.
Yeah, and you see, here's the thing. That's already $2,500 for our 1 week stay, which, if we did the math right, pays for the mortgage for the month, $500 left over. So maybe we call that cleaning fee, incidentals. And there's still 3 weeks left in July.
Right.
And this is a deal. I think that is one of the great things about this area is not only is it busy during the summer, 4th of July, there's events every night. Shootout, there are events every single day. Yeah. Memorial Day, Labor Day. There are events in the area that really add to the value of a vacation rental home that don't exactly add value to your home as a property.
Correct.
Because people are more likely to spend money to come here for things they want to do, like 4th of July. If they want to come to boat races, there is an opportunity for them to do that in this area.
And there's a flip side too. You could argue it either way. So usually when you go on vacation, did you rent a property or stay in a hotel in Florida just to stay in that hotel for a week?
No, it was like next to the beach and
exactly.
There's also a couple of museums around and some restaurants in the area.
And are you going to go to the grocery store and cook breakfast, lunch, and dinner there?
Continental breakfast, and they got great seafood.
Exactly. So they are not really taxing your home very much at all. Typically, they came down here to go to a boat race or go to a show or not a show. Lady Gaga is not singing here anytime soon that I'm aware of.
No, they do have there is some incredible entertainment options down here.
Yeah. And so most likely you came down here to get out and do those things. And again, so you're not really taxing the property all that much at all. Whereas if you have a full-time rental, they are eat, sleep, breathing, and they are living there 24/7. But again, on the flip side, they do come down and cocktail maybe a little more than you would on a Tuesday. And so there is, things do get broken. You have to remember that. And you have to have the mentality and the patience to deal with nightly rentals because they will punch a hole through your drywall. They will break the nozzle off the shower. They will lock themselves outside on a Friday night on 4th of July weekend. And you know who has to deal with it?
Who?
You. Ooh. You get to deal with it. Or if you have a property manager, they have to deal with it.
Yeah.
So again, your choice. You don't have to deal with it. But so again, give and take on either one. It all depends on your level of your stomach level of what you can stomach.
Your stomach level.
Yes, your stomach level.
Oh, man. I think that's something that you definitely need to consider. And that's one of the, and I know we keep coming back to this. That's another great reason Lake of the Ozarks is so perfect for nightly rentals, vacation rentals, is because Kansas City, St. Louis, Springfield, 2.5 hours. Not a lot of times are you going to be able to get a vacation rental that's not in the middle. That's not in the middle of the woods in Colorado, and you got to drive 5 hours to get up there. Or it is so close to some local large cities.
Correct, and airport as well. So typically they're driving. You might not have the funds to take you and all 3 of the kids. So there are 5 people, in the airplane across the country, et cetera. But we can make a long weekend out of the lake, just because we're having, a slower year in business or whatever it is.
And that's great for both renters and people who are renting their home. Because I mean, if you have somebody call you on a Thursday night and say, hey, I locked myself out, you can get there and back in 4 hours. And 4 hours, nothing to scoff at. Yeah. That's a long drive, but it's not like you got to hop on a plane, fly out there, deal with it, and fly back. You can drive down here and not have an issue.
True. So, yep.
Anything else you want to discuss on episode 1?
Gosh, we talked about a lot of stuff.
We did. We made a whole podcast roadmap, and I don't think we followed it at all.
Good. That's my kind of day. Probably just going back to why Lake of the Ozarks. Why should you purchase nightly rental here? I looked at a lot of places throughout the U.S., and for various reasons, your return is actually really good here. Because of those things, because of the low or no HOA fees, because of the low taxes, because your utility bills are typically either not much of anything or incredibly low at that. Like you might pay for cable and internet. Obviously, you'll have an electric bill, but really that's about it. And so again, your cost to hold is a lot lower than anywhere else. And typically your cost to purchase, even though prices are up right now, prices are up in the mountains as well.
Yeah.
They're up in Hawaii. They're up on every coast.
Yeah.
So your cost to hold again is still, or your cost to pick up is still lower than any of those throughout the country.
And I definitely think that it's a large lake. So there's a home and a location for everybody.
Yeah.
So if you don't want to be in the busy areas up in the teens and the 20s, if you want to get a house at the 55,
yep,
you could rent a house at the 55.
Yes.
And I think that's what's really awesome.
And Kelsey loves the 55.
Oh, yeah.
She will sell one too.
Yes, if you're looking on Gun Acres, oh man, we got the lady for you.
She is your
We'll
girl.
have to get her on to figure out her Gun Acres marketing strategy one day.
It's something. She wrapped that whole neighborhood up. But anyways.
So now I've decided that I want to get a rental property. So Jess, on the next episode,
yes,
I want to talk about some stuff that I like really need to look for.
Okay.
In a rental property, because I mean, I've decided I want to make some money. I want to buy a rental property. I had no idea where to start.
Okay.
Does that sound good to you?
That sounds good to me. I've got lots to say on that topic as well. But I will say this. I'll leave you this, Thomas. If you're going to buy a rental property, that's your decision. There's only one thing that you have to decide before we can even begin.
What's that?
Your budget. So I need to know how much you're going to spend. I don't care if it's $5 or $5 million. You have to pick a budget. You have to pick a payment that's comfortable for you. And then from there, we can look at options. We can look at options from the 1 mile marker. We can talk to Kelsey about the 55 mile marker at Gun Acres. We can talk about condos. We can talk about homes. We can talk about offshore, but you have to pick a budget.
Oh, Jess, you forgot one thing.
Yes.
You have to pick the right realtor.
Oh, that too.
And the right real estate agents are the O'Sullivan Bruce Group in Central Missouri, Osage Beach. If you're looking to buy or sell on Lake of the Ozarks, give us a call. We would love to discuss it with you.
Yeah.
Jess, thank you for joining me today on the Still Unnamed podcast.
Thanks for having me, Thomas.
Wonderful. And we will see you in the next episode coming sometime. Have a great day. Sometime in the future.
Okay, that was good.
Have a great day.